In the deep silence of space, a lonely prison ship moved slowly between dying stars. Its name was Guard 17. Inside that ship, there was only one prisoner. Her name was Zira. She sat in a small cold cell, her hands locked in glowing cuffs. She wore a gray suit, torn at the edges. Her face was calm, but her eyes were full of pain. The room was dark, but her skin glowed softly, a dark purple shine that moved like mist across her body. That glow. That was the reason the galaxy feared her. A robotic voice echoed through the ship. Warning, do not interact. Subject, Zira of Varellan. Status, cursed, do not touch. For many across galaxies, Zira was not a person. She was a symbol of death. A curse. A mistake of nature. But Zira had never hurt anyone. Many years ago, she came from a peaceful planet called Varellan. Her people had glowing skin, soft voices, and the power to feel energy around them. They were known as the Listeners. They healed broken machines with touch. They stopped storms by calming energy. But one day, everything changed. A ship exploded near Varellan. A rumor spread fast that the Listeners caused it, that their energy was dangerous, that their skin glow was a sign of dark magic. The Galaxy Council believed it. Without warning, Varellan was attacked. Its cities turned to dust. Most of Zira's people were killed. Only a few escaped. Zira was just 10 years old when she was captured. Since that day, she had lived in cells, moved from one ship to another, always watched, always feared. No trial. No voice. Now she was 19, and still, no one had spoken to her in years. As the ship moved forward, something strange happened. The lights blinked. The engines hummed louder. The control panel started showing red warnings. System error. Energy disturbance detected. Location, prison cell. The guards ran to her cell, looking scared. But Zira was just sitting there, quiet, her eyes closed. Suddenly, the ship shook. A strong wave hit it from the outside, like a silent explosion. Then, everything stopped. No lights, no sound, only darkness. Then a crash. Guard 17 was hit by a meteor storm in the dead zone, a place where no ship dared to go. Rumors said ships that entered never came back. The ship tore into 2 pieces. Flames and metal spread into space. Inside her cell, Zira opened her eyes. The cuffs around her wrists broke, not by force, but by energy. The walls around her melted slowly, as if space itself was opening for her. She walked out. Fire and smoke filled the ship, but nothing touched her. She moved like a shadow through the burning corridors. A quiet voice played in her mind, an old memory. You are not cursed, Zira, her mother had once said. You are chosen. One day someone will see who you really are. Outside the ship, small rescue bots searched for life. They scanned, but couldn't understand her energy. One bot tried to attack, but its wires burned from inside the moment. It got near her. Zira found an escape pod. It was damaged but usable. She sat inside, typed a few codes, and launched it into space. She didn't know where she was going, but she knew she had to run. Meanwhile, in a small human ship flying near the dead zone, a young explorer named Captain Rain sat in silence. He was scanning old satellites when suddenly, a strange signal appeared on his screen. Life form detected. Energy unknown. Location, dead zone. Rain frowned. That's impossible, he said to himself. Nothing survives in the dead zone. He turned his ship and set course to the signal. He didn't know that what he was about to find would change everything, not just for him, but for the whole galaxy. And in that moment, somewhere far behind him, the name Zira was whispered for. The first time in years, not in fear, but in curiosity. Who was she? Why did her skin glow with that strange energy? Was she really cursed? Or was the galaxy afraid of something else? Space is cold, but sometimes humans feel warmth. From the most unexpected place, Rain's ship, the Echo Light, floated like a speck near the edge of the dead zone. No lights, no traffic. Just darkness stretching forever. Rain had spent years exploring forgotten parts of the galaxy. He liked silence. No orders, no politics, just stars and systems. But the signal, this was different. Energy signature, unknown. Life form detected. Warning, classified zone. The IS voice repeated again. Rain zoomed in. A tiny escape. Pod spun slowly in the emptiness. Burnt edges, damaged panels, but it still glowed faintly. Inside, a figure sat curled up. Barely moving. Barely alive, he leaned forward. That glow ... double, he whispered. It was soft, purple, a live dot, and then it hit him. He had seen it once, in an old database, in a military file buried deep. Zira, the cursed one. The forbidden's race. Every rule said, do not approach, do not engage, do not survive. He should have turned back. He didn't. Rain wore his suit, opened the docking bay, and brought the pod in. As it touched the metal floor, a strange vibration ran through the ship. The lights flickered. The engines coughed. His AI spoke. Warning, energy interference. Recommend jettison of foreign object. Shut up, Rain muttered. She's not an object. He walked to the pod, eyes steady. The glass window was cracked. Inside, Zira was unconscious, her head tilted, her hands slightly glowing. Rain placed his hand on the door. The moment he touched it, a quiet hum passed through his body, not pain, not fear, something warm, something alive. The pod opened. Zira's eyes blinked slowly. She looked at him, confused, weak, guarded, like a hunted animal that forgot what safety felt like. She didn't speak. She didn't need to. Rain slowly removed his helmet. You're safe, he said softly. Her eyes widened. No one had ever said that to her. Not once. Rain helped her into the medroom. The AI tried to lock the doors, but he overrode it. He scanned her body. No injuries, but her energy levels were unstable, like a storm trapped inside a glass dot. As he worked, Zira finally spoke. Her voice was soft and broken. Why didn't you run? Rain looked at her. Everyone else did? She nodded. Everyone. Always. He sat down beside her, thinking. Because I don't see a curse. I see someone who survived. Zira turned. Her face. They destroyed my planet. I know. They called us dangerous. I know. She looked at him again. Do you believe it? Rain paused, then shook his head. I believe stories change depending on who's telling them. Zira didn't smile, but her shoulders dropped a little. For the first time in years, she felt something strange. Not hope, but maybe. The beginning of it. Hours passed. Zira slept. Her body tried to recover, but her energy kept reacting to the ship. Lights flickered near her. Panels buzzed when she passed. Rain's I gave one final warning. If she stays, this ship will die. But Rain had already made his choice. He walked to the bridge and sent a coded message to his old contact in the trade ring. I found her. She's real. She's not what they said. Send help? Came the reply. Rain typed, no, just don't say anything yet. The next day, Zira stood by the window, looking at the stars. Do you ever wonder, she asked, if some stars don't shine? Because they're hiding? Rain smiled. Maybe they're just waiting for someone to see them. She turned. To him, her voice quiet. Thank you. But the moment didn't last. A loud alarm rang through the ship. Incoming beacon. Military scan locked. 3 council ships approaching fast. Rain cursed. They tracked your pod. We have 6 minutes. He turned to Zira. We can run. Or hide. She looked out the window. Her eyes no longer afraid. No, she said. I'm done hiding. And so, the ship turned. Engines roared. Behind them, 3 warships closed in. Inside the echo light, a girl once marked as cursed stood ready, because one human didn't run. Space is wide, but no place is wide enough. When the galaxy wants you dead. A red alarm blinked above the echo light's controls. 3 council warships, fast, armed and angry, chased from behind. Their weapons locked, their orders clear. Capture the girl. Kill the human. Rain pushed his ship to the limit. His hands moved quickly across the control panel, rerouting power, dodging plasma shots, flying into asteroid fields where only fools dared to go. Beside him, Zira stood silent. Her skin was glowing again, that deep purple shine that the stars feared and the galaxy hunted. Rain glanced at her. "Anything you're not telling me?" he asked, forcing a grin. Zira didn't smile. "I never asked to be born this way," she said softly. "But I also didn't ask to be hunted." The ship shook. A laser beam scraped their side. Rain activated a blind jump sequence. Dangerous. Unstable, unpredictable. It could kill them. Or save them. "You trust me?" he asked. Zira nodded. "I already did, the moment I stayed on your ship." Rain hit the jump dot in an instant. The echo light vanished into the unknown and left 3 warships behind, scanning empty space. Cut to quiet. A new location. They landed in a quiet zone, a hollow moon near a forgotten star, full of abandoned mining tunnels. Dark, cold, but safe. For now, Rain ran checks on the ship. "We'll need 2 hours to recharge." Zira wandered deeper into the tunnels, touching old walls, listening to the silence. Memories returned. Flashback: Zira's childhood, a younger Zira, maybe 7 years old, ran barefoot through green hills under 3 suns. Her people sang with the wind, their voices tuned to energy. They could make machines work just by humming. Her mother, a healer, had a voice like a river. Calm, deep, powerful. Zira remembered her mother's words. "One day they will say you are cursed. But remember, the truth doesn't fear lies. Lies fear truth." She remembered the day they came, ships dark like shadows. The sky turned red. The sound of the people's songs was drowned in fire. Zira was pulled away, screaming, hiding, as her mother stayed behind, glowing, protecting. The last thing she saw, her mother standing in front of the village, arms raised, glowing like a sun. Before everything turned white. Back to present, the mining moon. Zira sat in silence, eyes closed. Rain walked in, carrying 2 oxygen packs. "You okay?" he asked. Zira looked up. I remembered her voice today. "It's strange, it used to hurt. Now it helps me breathe." Rain handed her a pack. "Good, you'll need your strength." Zira frowned. "Why?" Rain pointed to a small screen showing a blinking red dot. "Because someone else just landed here." They moved through the tunnel slowly. Footsteps echoed in the distance. Not soldiers, not bots. A small team minus 4 people. Faces covered. Weapons high-tech.ray and curse. Bounty hunters. "Must have tracked the blind jump trail." One of the hunters shouted. "Zira! Come out, you're worth more alive, but we'll take dead too." Zira took a deep breath. "I don't want to hurt anyone." Rain handed her a small blaster. "Then just don't let them hurt you." Short, fast fight scene. Lights flashed in the tunnels. Shots fired. But Zira didn't shoot bullets. She released waves. Pure energy. She raised her hands and bent sound itself. Their weapons jammed. The walls vibrated. The hunters fell, confused, stunned, but alive. Rain stared in shock. "You didn't kill them." Zira looked down at her hands. "We don't destroy. We disconnect. We were never built for war." Twist reveal. One hunter speaks, as one of the hunters tried to escape. He shouted something strange. "You don't know, do you? The council fears you because your blood holds the code." "The source code." Zira froze. "What code?" she asked, stepping closer. but he bit a poison capsule and collapsed, dead. Rain pulled her back. We need to go, now. Final scene. Escape. Back on the Echo Light, engine started again. Zira sat in the cockpit, breathing fast. What code was he talking about? Rain shook his head. I don't know. But I think you were never meant to be hunted. He looked at her closely. You were meant to be hidden. Zira didn't reply. But deep inside her, something had changed. Something was awakening. Some secrets are not written in books. Some are carried inside the blood. The Echo Light floated in quiet space. It had scars now, dense from lasers, cracked shields, a burnt hull dot, but inside, something powerful was healing. And something ancient was awakening. Zira sat in the med bay, her hands glowing softly, not bright, not loud, but steady, like a heartbeat. Rain was at the control panel, checking readings. He frowned. Your blood. It's not just alive, he said. It's evolving. Zira looked down. What does that mean? Rain showed her the screen. Normal DNA has 4 strands. Yours is showing more. A 5th strand, written in a different pattern. It's not natural. It's coded. He zoomed in. Symbols appeared. Pulsing. Shifting. Not science. Not biology. But language.zy. Ara leaned closer. Her eyes widened. I've seen that pattern before, she whispered. Flashback, the Temple of Varellin. A younger Zyra stood in a silver temple. The walls were made of crystal. The air Amidi down at the center was a pool of light. Her mother, older and wiser now, placed Zira's hand above it. This is the source code, she said gently. It lives in us. We don't worship it. We protect it. But what does it do? Young Zyra had asked. Her mother smiled. It doesn't destroy. It doesn't control. It remembers. All things, all time, all pain, all healing. Zira remembered now, her hand glowing above that pool. The feeling of everything entering her dot. She gasped in the present. It's in me, she said. The memory of my people, the source. It chose me. Rain stepped back. Wait, are you saying your blood carries the memory of your entire race? Zira nodded. Not just memory. The power to fix broken things, machines, minds, even life. Rain was silent. Then he whispered, that's why they killed your planet. Cut to, the truth revealed. Rain pulled up an old hidden file from a black market database. It was buried under false flags. But the name stood out. Project Silence, Termination of Varellin. He opened it. A video played, blurry, half-corrupted. Council commanders speaking. The source code is too powerful. We cannot let it be used by outsiders. They say it heals. But healing leads to freedom. And freedom breaks systems. Eliminate them. Say it was an accident, a cursed species. Rain turned the screen off. His fists clenched. They destroyed a peaceful race, just to stay in power. Zira sat still, but a single tear ran down her cheek, glowing softly before falling to the floor dot where it touched. The metal healed. Back in the galaxy, Council reacts, in a dark chamber on capital planet Iriath. Council lords watched a red screen flashing. Subject Zira alive, DNA confirmed, source active. The High Lord's eyes narrowed. She's awakening. That cannot happen. Send the Reapers, another said, and release the memory hunters. Cut back. Rain makes a decision. Rain. Walk to the control room. We can't hide anymore, he said. Zyra followed. Where will we go? To someone who might understand this, he replied. My old mentor. He used to work for the Council. He turned against them, went silent after the Varellin attack. If he's still alive, Zira nodded. Then we start there. But just as they set coordinates, the ship jolted. Alarms screamed, Rain cursed. Something's on the hull. Draining. Power. Zira ran to the window. Outside. A shadow crawled over the metal. Tall, faceless, and made of black smoke. It didn't fly. It moved through reality. The ship AI screamed, "Unknown entity, species match, 0, energy match, 0. Zero whispered, "I know what that is." Rain turned to her. "What?" She stepped forward. "That's not a hunter. That's a memory." Zyra faces the shadow. She opened the airlock and stepped out, floating in a shielded suit of light energy. The creature turned to her. No face, no voice, but it reached out. Zyra didn't run. She raised her hand and touched it. For a moment, the stars stood still. A flash. Then silence. Zyra floated back into the ship, weak but alive. Rain caught her. "What did you do?" "I remembered," she said. "It was one of us, a lost one. Killed during the purge. Trapped in energy. It forgot who it was." Rain whispered, "You healed it." Zyra nodded slowly. "Yes, and more will come. Broken, twisted, searching. Because the source is waking up. And it's calling them home, sometimes the most dangerous. Enemy is the one who once called you friend." The Echo Light entered orbit around a dry, gray planet named Orion 6, known in the outer systems as the Whispering Star. A place where signals vanish. A place used by traitors, smugglers, and those hiding from the truth. Rain looked out at the dust clouds below. "This is where he disappeared," he said. "My old mentor, Commander Stren." Zyra sat across from him, her eyes steady. "The one who left the council?" Rain nodded. "He was one of the few who believed in peace. He vanished right after your planet was destroyed. If anyone knows what's really going on, it's him." The ship landed quietly. No soldiers. No traps. Just silence. Too silent. The meeting. They walked through an abandoned outpost. Metal doors creaked. Wind howled between broken antennas. Then, from the shadows, a man appeared, tall, worn, face half covered in a rusted breathing mask. Ren. He lowered his hood. His eyes locked onto Zyra. He froze. "I thought you were all gone." Zyra replied calmly, "That's what they wanted." Rain stepped forward. "She's carrying the source. It's active. The council knows." Stren didn't react, just stared at Zyra. Then, slowly, he nodded. "Come inside." Inside the safe house, Stren showed them a hidden chamber. A circular table, a glowing map of the galaxy. Dots marked in red. Every time the council had used the lie of curse to silence something. "This has been going on for decades," he explained. "They hide truth by creating fear, whole species erased. Like hers." Zyra stood in silence, watching the stars spin above her. Stren stepped close to her. "You're the last listener. The source chose you. But they will come, not to capture you, to break you." Zyra looked up. "Then let them try." Twist, the betrayal. Later that night, Rain was repairing the ship when he noticed something odd. His control pad blinked, an outgoing signal. Location pin. Someone had sent their coordinates. He stormed back inside. "Stren, what did you do?" Stren stood calmly. "I did what was needed." Rain's voice rose. "You sold her out?" Stren's mask hissed. "She's a danger, Rain. You think she's just a healer?" "No. That blood can rewire systems, bend AI, even influence minds. You've seen it. She's not a weapon." Rain shouted. Stren's voice turned cold. "Everything is a weapon, in the wrong hands." Zyra entered. She had heard it all. She didn't scream. She didn't cry. She simply said, "They promised you a seat back at the council, didn't they?" Stren looked away. The wall shook. Outside, engines. Dropships descending. The Reapers had arrived. Public revelation. Traders and workers of Orion 6 ran through the marketplace as council soldiers landed. "Subject Zyra, surrender." The robotic voice echoed through the streets. Zyra stood at the center of it all, alone. Rain tried to grab her arm. "We run. "No," she said. "No more running," a child nearby cried. A woman screamed. A bot was shot in the back. Zero raised her hands, and the world stopped. Wind froze. Flames paused in midair. The soldiers' weapons dropped from their hands. Everyone watched as her body began to glow, not just purple, but white gold, like a small sun. Machines began to reboot. Wounded people gasped as burns healed. Even broken signs relit. The dust itself lifted. Zera's voice was calm and clear. "I am not your curse. I am your memory. I carry what they tried to bury." The soldiers fell to their knees, not by force, but from shock. The people didn't scream. They bowed. Rain's realization, he watched her, heart pounding. She wasn't just a survivor. She was the truth the galaxy had forgotten. The balance they tried to erase, and now she had been seen. Stren's regret. From a rooftop, Stren watched the scene below. He turned off the beacon he had activated. He spoke to himself, voice low. "I betrayed her. And still, she saved us all." Final scene, Council's reaction. In the Grand Tower of Iriath, the Council Lords watched a shaky live feed of Zera glowing, healing, leading. A new fear entered their hearts, not because she had power, but because now the people had seen her. She must not speak again. One lord said. "No," replied the High Lord. "It's too late for silence. We must show them fear again." He pressed a button. Activate protocol erasure. Planet by planet. Start with the ones who saw her. You can erase people, burn planets, silence tongues. But once a voice reaches the stars, it never truly dies. The image of Zera, glowing, standing unafraid as she healed the wounded on Orion 6, had spread like wildfire. Someone had recorded it, someone had shared it, and within hours, that recording traveled across systems, passed between traitors, rebels, outcasts, miners, even lonely AI. In a broken bar on Moon D12. A drunk ex-soldier whispered, "She's real, and she's not what they told us." On a farming satellite, children watched her shine and asked, "Why did they say she was evil?" In a robot scrapyard, one android reactivated itself and muttered, "Code match confirmed. Initiating memory recovery." The Galaxy Council saw it all. Their grip began to crack. They responded with fire. Planets that shared the video were locked down. Broadcast towers destroyed. Whole towns vanished overnight. But it was already too late. The voice was out. And it was hers. On the echo light, a message is born. Rain stood behind Zera as she stared at a camera. The lights dimmed. A quiet hum filled the room, not from machines, but from her energy. He whispered, "You don't have to do this." Zera answered, "I do. Not to fight them, to wake them." Rain clicked the record. Zera leaned forward. Her voice was steady, simple, strong. "My name is Zera. I was born on a planet that no longer exists. They told you I was cursed, but I am not. I am memory. I am voice. I am proof. The power inside me heals what they broke. And that scares them more than war. You are not slaves. You are not shadows. You don't need permission to remember what is true. The stars belong to all of us. Find each other, speak. Let your voices fly like mine did. We don't rise by fire. We rise by remembering." Rain ended the recording. He looked at her, half in awe, half in fear. That message, that could start a war. Zera nodded, or a revolution. Message goes viral. Within hours, her voice echoed across private comms, hijacked screens, even old forgotten satellites. They couldn't block it fast enough. The voice began to mutate, not in words, but in emotion. People added music behind it. Others animated it with star maps.ai, turned her message into coded signals that spread through machines. In the lower sectors, rebels painted her words on walls. We rise by remembering. But with every new listener, the danger grew, because the council wasn't just watching now. They were coming. Meanwhile, the council plans a final move. In the cold halls of Iriath Command, the High Lords stood around a black sphere. Inside, a glowing red crystal pulsed. The source cannot be killed. One lord said. Then we don't kill it, the High Lord replied. We corrupt it. They opened a vault. Inside, a living weapon, a cloned listener, twisted, broken, reprogrammed. Not like Zira, but made to look like her. Her name Vora. She will be their hope, the High Lord whispered. And then their ruin. Zyra feels the storm coming. Back on the ship, Zira walked alone into the meditation bay. She touched the wall. The lights flickered. Her eyes closed. She saw something, not with sight, but inside. A dark figure with her face. Planets burning in reverse. 1,000,000 people. Remembering her name, but not her face, Rain entered. You okay? Zira looked at him. No, she said. Something is coming. Something wearing my skin. Rise of the voice, planet-wide. Protest begins. Across dozens of planets, small peaceful revolts began. People wore glowing bracelets in honor of Varellan. AI bots refused orders from the council. Entire stations changed their name to Zera's Echo. And still, she spoke. More videos, more truths, but with truth comes a price. Attack at Echo Station. Zira and Rain land on Echo Station, a rebel-friendly base hidden in an asteroid field. They are welcomed like legends, but during her speech, the station is attacked. Ships fire from the dark. Explosions rock the crowd. In the smoke, Vora appears. Everyone gasps. Zira? Someone asks. Rain stares, but Zyra steps forward. She knows. That's not me. Vora smiles. Her voice is hollow. I remember everything you forgot. She raises her hands, and unlike Zira's, hers burn. Not healed. The station starts to collapse. Escape and resolve. Zira saves what she can. She takes a hit for a stranger. She loses part of herself. But she lives. As the ship takes off again, she turns to Rain. They made a shadow of me, she says. Rain nods. Then we bring the sun. She was hunted. She was blamed. She was marked as cursed, but in the end, she was the galaxy's last chance to feel whole again. The last planet, Varellan's grave. The echo light flew over a dead, gray world. Ash replaced oceans. Stone replaced forests. And silence replaced song. This was Varellan, Zira's home, or what was left of it. Rain looked out the window. Why come back? Zira stood beside him. Her eyes didn't blink. Because everything ends where it began. They landed on cracked ground, beneath a half-buried temple. Inside, ancient stones still whispered. Zyra walked ahead, her fingers brushing old walls, and suddenly, the space around her began to glow. Not from her. From the ground itself. The cone itself. Awakening chamber. In the center of the temple was a forgotten chamber, the heart room. Once used by Zera's people to store memory, code, and light. She stepped into it. The walls reacted. Patterns lit up. Not from electricity, but from presence. Rain stepped back, watching as the chamber pulsed with energy, like a giant sleeping organ. Zira spoke softly. We were not soldiers. We were memory keepers. They feared us because we didn't need war to change things. We only needed to remember. Then, the room answered. Her skin ignited. A full spectrum of light. Violet, gold, green, even white. And then, her voice was no longer alone. Thousands of echoes filled the chamber. Her ancestors, her people, their thoughts. They had waited for her. You are the last, but not the end. Vora's arrival. Final battle begins. Outside, thunder cracked across the planet. Ships arrived in orbit, not just the council fleet, but Vora, the clone shadow of Zira, infused with corrupted Source code dot, she dropped from the sky like a weapon. You came to finish her song? Vora hissed. Zira stepped out of the temple. Her glow was soft, calm, and clear. I didn't come to fight you. I came to free you. Vora laughed. Free me? I am what they made me. Rage, fire, power. Zira walked forward, unafraid. You are what they forced, not what you are. Vora raised her hands, energy roared. Rain shouted, Zira, move. She didn't. She closed her eyes. Not a fight, a fusion. The blast hit Zira full force, but instead of falling, she absorbed it not as a weapon, but as a mirror. She remembered Vora's pain, the cloning labs, the electric chains, the lies they told her to believe, and she whispered one word, remember. Vora screamed, her fire shattered in from inside. A second light began to bloom, one that wasn't violent, but true. She collapsed, breathing hard. Tears, real ones, rolled down her cheek. I was never real, she said. Zira knelt beside her. You are now. Above, a broken council watches from the command deck of the lead council ship. The High Lords watched in silence. The commander turned to them. Orders? One lord whispered. She's healing them. The High Lord growled. That is the threat. Fire the planet. End it all. But the soldiers didn't move. Across the ship, hands dropped from weapons. Officers turned off consoles. Someone began playing Zira's message, the one from Part 6, across the intercom. Voice rose. Then another. The ships didn't attack. They stood down. Final moments. A galaxy reconnects. The temple pulsed one last time. Zira stood in the center. Arms open, her glow rising into the sky. Rain watched as signals shot out into the stars. Each one carried memory. Each one carried truth. Each one healed. On faraway planets. Machines rebooted with cleaner code. Children who were sick stood and walked. Old A's remembered names they thought were lost. The stars themselves seemed to hum with a different song.